Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Love with Love Racing here for Week 2 in Season 2 2023. We're at Virginia International Raceway North Course in the Formula Ford 1600. We're going to start with a full speed lap followed by a turn-by-turn breakdown where we're going to look at braking markers, turn-in points, and other landmarks that we want to keep an eye on. If these videos are helping you guys get faster, giving you any value, please like and subscribe to the channel. Just lets me know what videos I should be making. Alright, let's get to our lap. Heading to turn 1, we're going to track full left here. We're going to look at our braking markers on the left. We're going to brake hard at the 1 marker. We're going to shift all the way down to second gear. We're going to look at the curbing to our right and be patient. Get on throttle at the end of the curbing. Because of this car's propensity for throttle on understeer, you're going to want to be patient there. Stay about a car width away from the apex at turn 2. We want to go all the way track right for turn 3. Gives us a little bit more space to work with. There's plenty of runoff on the right, so you can use most of that. Start braking right as the surface changes. We want a nice late apex here, that way we can stay on throttle for longer down the straight. I took a little bit earlier of a turn in there, had to lift a bit. Now we can utilize all the curbing, try to make this as straight of a line as possible. Heading to turn 7 on the back straight, we don't want to stay about mid-track here. You don't want to go full track left right away. You're just going to be adding distance. This turn is uphill and on camber, so you actually don't need to slow down as much as you think you do. Coasting and being really patient on that exit. Now this next section is all about your rhythm. We don't want to turn in right about the end of this driveway on the right. Just a nice little lift, wait till the front turns in, and then back on throttle. You can use the rubbered in parts of the track to give you an idea where you want to be. Cut straight through here, brake at the end of the curbing on the left, be back on throttle before the end of the curbing on the right. If you got that right, you should be flat out all the way to hog pen. We're going to want to use the curbing on the left here, make sure we can maximize our radius for the right-handed corner. We're going to lift, nice long lift, wait until the car hooks up, and then get back full throttle. Don't fight the car by adding more steering angle here, let the car track out, then slowly move back to the right side of the track. Alright, that was one quick lap at VIR North in the Ray Formula Ford 1600. Now we're going to look at it in some more detail and see how we did it. We're going to save some distance by not moving to the left too early. Work on your approach here so that way you're fully tracked left and moving straight by the time you get to our braking marker. Because this car suffers from throttle on understeer, what you're going to want to do is you're going to really trail brake into the corners. That's going to help get the rear end rotated. That's going to allow us to get back on throttle earlier, and the car will be pointed in the right direction so we won't push wide. A really good reference here to know when to get back on throttle is right about the end of the curbing on the right. If you find yourself about mid-track or further, you probably got on throttle a little bit too early. As you get back on throttle, focus on slowly unwinding the steering wheel. You can end up scrubbing off a lot of speed there if you hold that steering wheel for a little bit longer than you need to. We're going to stay away from hitting the apex curbing here. We want to make sure we have enough room to get all the way back to track right to set us up for turn 3. This is one of the trickiest braking zones on the track because you're kind of turning. You got to make sure you straighten it up a little bit before you get on those brakes. Make sure the car doesn't rotate. On our approach, we're going to aim the car towards the curbing on the right. At this point, we've got the car slowed down. We didn't need a ton of braking pressure. And we're going to go ahead and trail off and aim for that apex on the left. We can actually get on the throttle a little bit before the apex here because we have so much runoff on the right side of the track. We can go ahead and use the gradient change on the track here as you see it gets rubbered in. That's going to be our braking marker for turn 4. Turn 4 is going to be critical to a good lap time here, so we're going to spend some time really looking at the details. On this lap, I ended up turning in a little bit early. I had about a conventional apex here. But what's that's going to do? It's going to really compromise me on the next corners. What you really want to do is try to get the car to apex right here, and that's going to help you stay full throttle throughout the next section, or close to it. We're going to look at our car position after turn 4 on the entry to turn 5. It's going to give us an idea if we took that corner correctly. We want to be the center of the car to be left of mid-track. That way we can turn in, use the curbing, and stay on throttle. Prior to getting to the curbing here, I like to shift a little bit early. That's going to get a little bit of weight on the front of the tires. It's going to help your turn in, and I found that you can get right back on throttle and stay flat through the next section, which is really important. We're going to use all the curbing here. That's going to be the straightest point through this next section. We don't want to scrub off any additional speed. Turn 7 is going to be a pretty tough braking zone because we don't really have any good markers. A landmark that can be helpful is this fencing on the left. We're going to want to be fully on the brakes before we get to this point. There's quite a bit of runoff here. You just really need to be patient on when you get back on throttle. Make sure you're pointed in the right direction as you will get some of that throttle on understeer. We're going to use the end of the frontage road on the right as our turn-in point. We're going to lift really abruptly. That's going to get some weight on those front tires and help us turn in. Right at the end of the concrete curbing on the left, we're going to go ahead and do another quick lift. That's going to get the weight back on the front again, help us turn in. If you just stay on throttle here, it's going to wash you wide, and you're going to end up losing a lot of time here because you're going to have to add a lot of steering angle. Okay, now we're back to full throttle. We're going to hit this apex on the right and then just straight line this next section. You want to be up to full brake pressure before we get to the end of the concrete curbing here. We're going to shift down into second, and you really need to be patient. Wait for the apex before you get back on throttle. We're going to take Hogbin in third gear. What I like to do is turn in at the end of the curbing on the right, do a nice big lift. What's going to do is it's going to help me control the car. I'm going to go over the curbing on the left with all 4 tires, and then that's going to set me up to get back on throttle the earliest. Because we are so aggressive going over the bump, the back end's going to come out a little bit, and that's what we want. We want to get back on throttle. That's going to transfer the weight back to those rear tires, help reduce some of that on-throttle understeer. That's going to point us in the right direction. Our reference here to when to get back on throttle is going to be before the end of the curbing. Alright, if you got your line right and carried enough speed through here and got back on throttle, it should push you all the way to the left side of the track. That's okay, don't fight it. Just slowly get back over to the right side of the track, and we're just going to go straight all the way here to the finish line. Alright, that was 2 laps in the Ray Formula Ford 1600 at VIR North. Please go ahead and comment, let me know where you guys are losing time, where you think you could be faster than I am. I'd really like to start fostering a community here. Ghost laps are available to download, and I am offering some coaching services, so all those links will be in the bio. Alright, thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.